In fact, here is a sheriff from Florida with a little warning to all you liberal types who might be moving down here to Florida.
I've got something I want you to see. This is what we enjoy in Florida. This is the Florida we know and love. This is what our governor,
Pause it.
our speaker, our president.
I'm sorry, we just have to point it out. Disney World, boat, beach. You know, I'm glad they have those visual aids because otherwise I would never have associated those kinds of things with Florida.
Yeah, I didn't realize. Do they have beaches down there?
Is Disney World there? Look at the Mickey. So happy. You would never realize that they're trying to disenfranchise voters en masse. You can continue.
Is there anybody who's white in those photos? Was this a very intentionally designed photo shoot?
The governor signing an anti-riot bill. An anti-riot bill. Go ahead.
Okay.
President, this is what all these law enforcement officers and administrators and sheriffs and police chiefs and their officers do every day. They guarantee an environment where you can come here and have fun. Heck, you can even have more fun. Here's another picture. This is the Florida we know and love. We're a special place. And there are millions and millions of people who like to come here. And quite frankly, we like to have them here. So we only want to share one thing as you move in hundreds a day. Welcome to Florida. But don't register to vote and vote the stupid way you did up north. You'll get what they got. There's a reason that this place is fun.
Wow.
There's a reason why we have a 49-year low crime rate. And the same people that don't think we should have an anti-rioting bill or a rioting bill are the same ones that think we ought to let more people out of prison. And where they're doing that, as the governor and our speakers have alluded to, crime goes up. But it's not just crime that goes up, victimization goes up. The people in those states are hurt and killed, and their livelihoods changed, and their children are changed.
So New Yorkers? Is we're not in a safe state? Safest city in America?
Yeah, I mean, he wants to just basically say.
Well, it seems a little inappropriate for a sheriff to be talking about telling people how they should vote.
A little bit.
I don't know.
I'd like to know his thoughts on Matt Gaetz and the crimes that he commits. I'm very curious.
Yeah, I was going to say the only reason crime is would be so low is they're not prosecuting fraud there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Their senator had to take the fifth. What was it, like 45 times in investigating Medicaid fraud?
I mean,
child molestation.
Already, you know, in the pandemic, suppressing numbers. We know that that is a similarity to here in New York, and giving out vaccines to developers in areas that had donated to him. So I feel like certain kinds of crime are quotidian in Florida, but other kinds, you know, the ones that black people do, that's when the sheriff has to get up on his pedestal. That's what he says black people do.
That bill, incidentally, is really horrific. Just some details here. Let me get this out of my stack here. A gathering of 3 or more people can be labeled a riot.
Whoa.
3 or more people. That's all it takes.
Didn't they do something very similar in New York though too, simultaneously? Can someone look that up? Recently there was some sort of provision in organizing on the streets. That's not unique.
If they are blocking the road and you feel threatened, or frightened, I should say, frightened, it is okay to run them over with a car.
What?
Now, historic monuments, including Confederate ones, are receiving special protection under the law. This is according to Vice News. This is the Combating Public Disorder Bill, or HB1. A similar bill has been introduced in 45 states apparently this year. The law creates civil immunity for people who drive into crowds of protesters, meaning they cannot be sued for damages if people get killed or hurt if they claim self-defense. Now, they still could face criminal charges, but they're civilly immune.
I first saw this at the No Dapple protests in North Dakota.
Yep. And of course, this has been ongoing. There were 100 incidents between May and October of 2020 of drivers driving into crowds of protesters, about half of which were confirmed to be intentional. And at least 8 of those incidents took place in Florida. This also ramps up penalties against protest participants. Anybody willingly participated in a riot, which again, it's a protest involving 3 or more people, could be charged with a third-degree felony, which is punishable with by up to 5 years in prison. It also defines something called mob intimidation, where 2 or more people are trying to compel someone to assume, abandon, or maintain a particular viewpoint against his or her will. Does anybody know what the hell that means?
This can't, I mean, I would even imagine this could be overturned by the Supreme Court.
So if you're, if there's somebody eating at a restaurant, let's say Ted Cruz, and you see a mob as defined by 2 or more people circle around them and start screaming, you are getting at least a misdemeanor.
So 2 people for the mob situation, which, I would just say is like a couple of people, not a mob. By definition, it's a couple of people.
Indeed.
3 is a riot.
3 is a riot.
4 is a party.
Yeah. It also...
Freedom, guys. Freedom.
It also prevents bail once you get arrested before you have a court hearing. So the idea that like, oh, we're going to keep them over the weekend type of situation, that's what that's geared towards. I mean, this is really sort of stunning.
And they smiled and clapped, and meanwhile, freedom. Whose freedom?
I imagine we're going to hear a lot from the free speech crowd on this.
I am worried about Ron DeSantis running in 2024 and having success.
Should be. Yep. Should be concerned about that.